The bottom line is no one's coming. No one. No one's coming to push you. No one's coming to tell you to turn the TV off. No one's coming to tell you to get out the door and exercise. It's up to you. You've got to parent yourself. You got to push yourself.
Did you know the number one thing that keeps us from being consistent with fitness is usually time? Like, how are we supposed to fit in workouts with nutritious meals, with work and a social life, and still have time to just exist? It's totally valid to feel like you don't have enough time to incorporate fitness and healthy eating and wellness into your life because, to be honest, there is always so much to do, and one thing you can count on is life will always change. For example, 1 month you could have a solid routine, but then the next month you got a new job, and now your schedule's all over the place. Or you move to a new city and suddenly you don't have a gym membership yet, or you start dating someone and then your evenings start looking completely different. All of this can rock your routine, and without a routine you will feel it. You feel it mentally, physically, and it adds up over time to you just feeling like crap. But starting is the hardest part, and it sounds like if you're here, you're looking to get started on your fitness journey, or maybe you're trying to bounce back from having fallen off. I totally feel that, especially considering the winter blues that are going around right now. And starting, whether it's your fitness journey or anything new that you're committing to, can feel so scary. It can lead to some anxiety, some imposter syndrome. But here's the thing, you gotta stop overthinking and just decide. You gotta lock in. Decide that today's the day and you're just gonna do it for you. So let's put our head down, put ourselves first, and focus. First, if you're new here, I'm Heather, your go-to girl for elevation in wellness and self-improvement. So if that interests you, be sure to subscribe and stick around. If you are absolutely terrified to step foot in the gym, I have been there. First time I went, I was convinced everyone was gonna be like,
oh my god, she doesn't know what she's doing.
But the thing about the gym is you learn that nobody actually cares. They're all in their own world and nobody is judging you. Another thing I really recommend is wearing clothes that you genuinely feel good in and that fits you right. It kind of makes you feel safe to wear like a baggy t-shirt and sweatpants. You just kind of feel like you're hiding in the gym a little more. Problem is that when you like feel frumpy and like uncomfortable, you're walking in like you're trying not to exist. So when you start wearing things that actually fit you properly and that you're even excited to wear, not for anyone else but for you, when you feel good in your clothes, you will move differently. For me, I love high-waisted leggings that have good tummy control. Another thing super important to me is making sure I wear a bra that is really good support. And this is not sponsored or anything, but my first set of clothing that I ever did end up getting was from Amazon. If you still feel most comfortable in an oversized t-shirt and some sweatpants, get a cute matching sweatshirt and sweatpants. Do it in a way that is comfortable and cute and put together, and not something that makes you feel uncomfortable, the same sweats that you use when you're lounging around the house. Next is definitely make sure that you have a plan before you step into the gym, because if you go with zero plan, you're going to be walking around awkwardly. And I know it's already scary in a new gym because you don't know where all the equipment is, so keep it simple. For example, today I'm doing a shy girl workout routine where essentially I'm staying in the exact same place with only one set of dumbbells and doing whatever exercises I can do on the mat by myself. So you walk in with a game plan. I saved 3 different videos for shy girl floor workout routines for chest and tricep, and that's just what I went through with. Honestly, I signed up for this gym at Planet Fitness because all the equipment is super self-explanatory. So even though it can look scary, they literally have a photo showing what muscles that's targeting. So you can even just walk around, and most of the time those sections that work out the same muscles are within the same area too. And in this early stage, you're really just focusing on building strength in general. So you don't need super heavy weights. You can just do super light weights and get into the habit of building strength. So just pick super beginner friendly machines. For example, the leg press for legs, pull down, which is seated for upper body, or seated row, which actually helps with your posture. I never used to work out my back before until I learned that actually having more squared, upright shoulders helps with that hourglass figure. And once you start using them, you're gonna get so much more comfortable. So if you feel like you can't find the dumbbells, just use the machines. Or if you just wanna work in one section of the gym, get some dumbbells and a floor mat and you're gonna be good to go. And if you're nervous, headphones, especially the ones with noise cancellation, such a lifesaver. Whenever I feel nervous, I turn on my noise cancellation. Any headphone, lots of headphones have noise cancellation these days, but over-the-ear headphones have great noise cancellation where you can literally just lock in, put on your music, and focus on what you gotta get done. Because music can make such a difference. You can make such a fun little playlist and put it together and be really hyped and excited for your workout. especially if it has some new songs or your favorites on there. Make sure you build a playlist that really gets you moving. And music can be part of this process, because going to the gym really is a ritual. You kind of do the same things over and over again. You have the same snack, same pre-workout, do the same exercises, but the music can be something that can change it up and make it more exciting again. And then also keep showing up. If you have those days set on your calendar, make sure that you show up for them. Best gym I recommend is the one that's closest to you. I will stand by that because you will go to it more. So I do think signing up for a gym membership, at least the closest one to your house, will get you up, get you going. And if you need a little extra confidence, remember, everyone starts somewhere, and so can you. Okay, next, we need to talk about food. What I wish that I could tell my younger self when I was first getting started on my fitness journey was that you can have a healthy relationship with food. The problem with being too restrictive right out the gate is that it becomes unsustainable. And what I found when I was just cutting calories was I was tired all the time. And the terrible side about that is it can lead to unwanted stress. Piece of advice I got when I first started is, instead of focusing so much on taking out the things that you enjoy, instead focus on what you can add to your plate. So for example, if you're a person that doesn't really eat vegetables that often or frequently, maybe that's a pretty good place to start. For example, you could make it your goal to add at least one veggie to every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And what you'll find is the adding of that fiber and those veggies will actually help to keep you full, and it'll help your digestion too. Another thing, and you've probably heard this one harped on frequently, is protein. What surprised me when I was first starting on my health and fitness journey was how little protein I actually ate. For example, I was so surprised when I learned that the standard when it comes to how much protein you should eat is about a pound per body weight. So another thing that you can focus on your journey is focusing on protein, one, that you actually enjoy, and two, eating enough of it in your diet. When I first started out, I was using a lot of MyFitnessPal, and sometimes if I've fallen off of my meal plan, I will get the FitnessPal out for one full day and kind of measure what I eat for that day, just to make sure that my typical recipes for the week are meeting my protein goals. I love alternating between beef, poultry, and seafood. And just like a good mix of that keeps things nice and fresh and enough variety that it still feels really exciting to put the meal together. I've also just started loving these shrimp pita bread tacos, and I'm gonna put those together today. I started with seasoning some shrimp. This right here is my secret ingredient, Uncle Chris's gourmet steak seasoning. I visited my friend that was like off the coast, and she made breaded fried shrimp with this seasoning one time, and after that we were all hooked. And I don't just put it on shrimp, I put it like on everything. Also, when it comes to making lunch, I try to do something that's super quick and I can put together in under 20 minutes for sure. And with this recipe, all I have to cook is the shrimp. Everything else is just chopped up and put in these. These are the pita breads that I use, and they actually have 15 grams of protein in them. So when it comes to your carb source, also look if there's an alternative that you can use that can also double as something that contributes to your protein intake. I was big on snacking, especially after 6 p.m., like after dinner time. So what helped me was adding snacks that actually were high in protein. So my snacks before were like hot Cheetos with cheese, bags of chips, chocolate or pastries. And what I found was those would give me a surge of sugar, but then they actually wouldn't keep me full at all. So although they seem satisfying in the moment, they're really not. Actual good alternative snacks. My biggest go-to right now is a protein yogurt bowl, and you can do some flavored ones like vanilla or strawberry, but you can also do a plain yogurt, and then if you add some fruit in too, that'll kind of add a little bit of sweetness. But you can also add like honey and maple syrup. You really got a really nice snack that's gonna keep you full. We're gonna add in our shrimp. Shrimp cooks so fast, like 5 minutes and it's done. Balanced meals aren't only about eating low calories, it's also about having balance on your plate. So the 3 things I focus on are 1, protein, 2 is carbs, in this case I'm using pita bread, and 3rd is some kind of green, especially fruits or veggies. Well, now while that's cooking, I'm gonna put together the filling for this shrimp taco. All I do is get an avocado. Depends on how many servings you're doing. I would usually do half an avocado. After that, I love getting things that are pre-chopped, especially things I hate to chop up. For example, onion. I hate chopping onion and garlic. So if I can get pre-chopped onion and garlic, I will do it, and then I just kind of add it in. I do the same thing with broccoli. It's a little bit more expensive to get the pre-chopped kind, but I find that if it saves time, it's already chopped and I can just throw it in the air fryer. It saves me time and I'm more likely to cook it. If you guys have seen, I'm also super big on meal prep. I love meal prepping, especially for dinner, because the end of the day is when I find that I want to eat out the most. And when I have a meal prep, prioritize anything, I definitely recommend prioritizing meal prepping dinner, because that's when you're the most tired and you don't want to put in the effort at the end of the day. If anything's gonna get you, it's gonna be dinner. So we got tomato, gonna throw that in. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of cilantro too. All right, so this is my bowl that I'm just gonna mix up. For my guac, I like to put lime, of course, salt, and a little bit of garlic powder too. Now, if you don't currently cook, I think it was, last year, you can use so many meal delivery services. We used HelloFresh for majority of last year. That was such a lifesaver too. It literally gives you all the directions step by step. It was really fun to put the meals together because it's stuff that you wouldn't usually make, or you can just do things like Factor where the meals are already cooked. That's really nice too because you know exactly what macros are in the meals that you're eating. So if you're just starting out, that might be something that you might try signing up for too if you have the means. But if not, eating healthy can actually be, pretty affordable too. This month, a focus of mine was on trying to make healthier versions of Hispanic meals that I have just not been eating because I always thought they were just unhealthy. But for example, tacos was something that I love, and I just didn't really eat tortillas for a long time because that was like one of the avoided foods. So now I'm trying to use alternatives. So like this pita bread's a good example. All right, let's assemble tacos, pita taco thing. So another thing too is looking at the serving size. So the serving size for this shrimp is 6 shrimp. So I'm also kind of being cognizant of that too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm gonna put this avocado guac mash. Adds flavor and it gets your healthy fats in. I love topping it with goat cheese. Goat cheese has a different texture. It's really creamy. It has 5 grams of protein, but it is a little bit higher in calories. So I definitely don't use too much of this, but a little bit of garnish makes it just extra creamy. And voila. That is my current fixation for lunch, shrimp taco pita thing. So whether you're trying to gain muscle or you're trying to lose weight, I would definitely say looking up recipes that you actually think that you can make is exciting. It's like exciting. It's like a new task, like when you're playing a video game and you're trying to like level up your character. Learning how to cook is something that you will get better at the more that you do it. And I know it's kind of hard if you're like first starting your fitness journey to think about cooking at the same time can feel a little bit overwhelming. So take the baby steps. You don't have to do everything all at once, but at the same time, use it as like a fun task. Like I would go on Pinterest and just look up like healthy hamburger bowl or something like that so that I could still get those flavors of things that I really enjoy, but just kind of make it a little bit healthier. And then one day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be like, wow, wait, these pants are fitting a little bit looser now. Or this top, fits better than it used to before. So you look like you lost a couple pounds there. Or you look a little bit more toned or a little bit bigger, whatever your goals are. I will say that if you're just going to the gym and you're not focusing on a good meal plan or a good diet, that may be something that's holding you back. Actually get the FitnessPal out for one day and measure what it is that you're eating. And most of the time, I found that my problem was with portion size. That could be another downfall too to kind of like watch out for. Here we go, let's eat. There's one thing I've learned about motivation. It is that it can be so unreliable. One morning you may wake up with a ton of motivation and then sometimes by the afternoon, you're just really not feeling it. One day you wake up and you're just that girl and you're cleaning and you've done all your groceries, you did your laundry for the day, romanticizing your fitness journey, and then the next, you're exhausted, you scrolled on TikTok till you got sad, and before you know it, it's been a week since you've even moved your body. That's why I'm saying that motivation can come and go, but discipline is what will keep us in check. Discipline can kind of sound like you have to force yourself into doing things. Like when I think of discipline, I think like of the military or something. To a certain extent, that is how you have to discipline your mind, because your mind loves taking the easy way out because it's thinking about the present and what's going to hurt least. And that's why it's so hard not to see fitness as like a punishment. But I swear, on the mornings when I actually get up and work out, I feel so much better for the rest of the day. There have been mornings when I have just woken up in a slump, or I realize that I haven't worked out or I haven't moved my body, and then as the days progress, I get progressively worse. And then I think about it, and there's definitely a correlation between lack of movement and the lowering of my mood. And that's why small sustainable habits, if it feels like there isn't enough time in the day to get movement in, that's why you have to carve out some time. Either in the morning or in the afternoon is the best time to do so. For example, my evenings now look so different than they used to. And trust me, I used to always love to sleep in. You couldn't get me up before 11 a.m. in the morning. And yet somehow everything works out together. You can't just have the movement without the meals or the sleep. They all kind of are interconnected together. Right now, I'm just going on a little evening walk in Central Park because I find that getting out in nature can really liven my mood. And I know that it's been so cold and it's been hard to kind of get out of the house, but being around other people and being in nature really makes such a difference. For me, another thing that truly helps me is when I put on a podcast. It just feels like I have a go-to friend that's like talking in my ear, telling me what they're working on and to stay motivated. So I love listening to podcasts about self-growth and development and learning new things that I didn't know about my own body, especially because we're still living in such a prehistoric mind that we're trying to develop, right, and train. Like something like a little wellness walk in the evening can just help take your mind off things from the day and refocus on just yourself. And sometimes I need a little bit of perspective at the end of the day because some of the tasks from work can feel so big and daunting and scary, or like I can't stop thinking about them once the day is over. So going for a little walk at the end of the day also really helps just kind of like alleviate some of that and kind of like refocus back on myself, because that really is what's most important. And if you're spending 8 hours of the day focused on your job, you should be spending equal if not more amount of time of the day focused on yourself too. I used to think in the afternoon that because I had free time, I needed to stay up to take advantage of the fact that I had free time after work. It felt like the only time that was really mine. And what I usually just ended up doing was like binge watching TikTok or staying up and watching movies or TV shows, like anything to squeeze more time out of the day. Like I felt like if I was going to sleep early, it was just wasting my free time. Does that make sense? But in truth, that version of me was always exhausted. And I wasn't really doing things that were actively pouring back into me. And when you flip the way that you think about it, you end up seeing your evenings as a time to reset instead of just extra hours to fill with entertainment. So I would also recommend having some kind of evening routine that pours back into yourself. A lot of the times we just aimlessly end up doing things in the afternoon. We don't have any real intentions, and that actually ends up wasting more time. And that's not to say that you have to be productive every single hour of the day, but you do want to spend some time in peace and not just taking in the outside world. One thing I actively do now in my journal writing, I personally do enjoy planning. So I like to plan tomorrow today, where I make a list of 3 to 5 things that I need to accomplish tomorrow, because sometimes I couldn't go to sleep because I would be really stressed out about what I had to do the next day. But by getting it down on paper, just 3 to 5 things that I really want to accomplish, it helps me set my priorities, and it also helps me sleep more peacefully. Same thing with just having a journal and just writing your thoughts down. I've also been incorporating 3 written pages in the morning thanks to my artist's way suggesting to write 3 pages every morning. First I dreaded doing it, but then now I'm actually really looking forward to it. It just is like a time for me to just be with myself. And I've journaled in the past, but it hasn't really stuck before. Doing it as part of my training, I guess, with my weekly programs, it's actually been helping me a lot. I really feel like it's something that will stick this time. I think picking out a book, actually going to the bookstore and getting a book that you really want to read, or going on TikTok and getting recommendations, helps so much. As I mentioned, right now, I'm reading The Artist's Way. The reason why I picked this one up is because, if you guys know Doechii, she just won a Grammy, and one of the things she attributes to her success creatively at such a young age was that she happened to find this book. So I thought it'd be great, as I'm kind of pursuing my creativity with, video creation and all that. So I'm on week 2, recovering a sense of identity. It has some really fun exercises. One of the exercises from week 1 was to write down 5 different careers that you would have if you didn't have this one that you're in. So it was just cool. Like I was thinking like, oh, when I was a kid, like I wanted to be a veterinarian, would love to own like a cat cafe or something. And then the fun activity associated with that was to do an activity that would bring in that inner child from that. So like the cat cafe would be like, I guess, going to a cat cafe, or the veterinarian one would be, I don't know, maybe going to a petting zoo or something like that. It's a slower pace. Learning is definitely a slower pace, but I think that it's far more valuable. I've really been enjoying it so far. So picking up a book that you really want and inspires you to read it is great. A lot of what you do every single day, all the actions that you take are rituals. What you do when you finish work is a ritual. What you do when you wake up is a ritual, and you won't even realize that you're doing the exact same thing all the time. So try to be a little bit more intentional with it. And that's what starting your health journey, fitness journey is going to do, is you're starting to be intentional with your time. So maybe take baby steps with just the morning routine or just the night routine to try and get more consistent with it, but add the things that you think you would really enjoy doing. And sometimes that means cutting out a few things that maybe aren't that good for you in the afternoon or evening, right? And going to sleep early, obviously. Like these are some obvious ones, but like when you really start doing them, it helps so much. One of the biggest things I wanted to mention is if you're one of those people who has started your fitness journey multiple times and you can never seem to commit to it, when you say you're gonna do something and then you don't follow through, you lose trust in yourself. And I think what I gained from sticking to a fitness journey and from sticking to evening and morning routines is building trust with myself again. Trusting that if I say I'm gonna do something, I truly do it. So if nothing else, that can really help too. I think that was a very surprising result of committing to a fitness journey, is building more trust in myself. And I hope you will see the same results too. So what matters is making your time work a little bit more for you. That's what the fitness journey is all about. Because the version of you that feels well rested, prepared, and actually taken care of, that person won't just happen, and you're creating that person day by day. Comment down below, let me know what you guys are going to start adding to your morning or night routine. I really hope this motivated and inspired you and helped educate you as you're getting started on your fitness journey or getting back into things. Make sure you subscribe so you can check out all my health and wellness videos, and I'll see you in the next one.